Twabaye tukubiwa n'abayiba isu. Ngakoba omba maizi nabe wabula maizi. Tomukobere ekyo nti wabula maizi. Omufiyo okoba nti wabula atandika okuba nona bire bikonde muno akubaina akubasamba. Nga twawona awonere ino ensonga ya maizi mwana isu.
When you look around the world, things can seem quite hopeless. In the 21st century, we are facing a critical crisis in energy, water, and food. Our energy, water, and food supplies are all interdependent, and we're facing crises in all of these areas. Our energy resources are polluting the environment. Food resources are dwindling. The population is growing to where we are concerned with the population outstripping food supply. And both food and energy are heavily dependent on water. You cannot have energy without water, and you certainly can't grow food without water. And water itself, this critical resource that has no substitute, is running out. But when I'm in a place like this, I'm actually optimistic, because this forest is in the middle of a desert. Until 50 years ago, this forest didn't exist. It was created by people who had the passion and the foresight to make something that was considered to be uninhabitable to something that is what we see today. The story of this forest is an example of an actually bigger story of what's really happening here. It's a story of a group of people that are simply unwilling to accept the status quo. Individuals who grew up surrounded by these issues and care enough to do something about it.
People should not be dying from thirst. It's unjust, especially when the solution is so simple.
It's only in our hands. I have a very clear belief and knowing that it can be changed. Quite fast.
אין ספק שזה משהו שמחייב התייחסות, ומחייב פתרון. לי זה באמת דרך חיים, כלומר לחפש את הדברים החדשים שאף אחד לא חשב עליהם.
Henri, vite, s'il vous plaît, il faut y aller. Nous, on en bien. Allez, tu viens? Habille-toi, parce que vite, il faut partir. Growing up, we were considered a poor family. My father didn't have a job for many years, so we didn't have much. My mother was the one working. She worked really hard, yeah. The poverty that I experience is not comparable to what's happening in Africa. Come on, we had electricity, we had water. I had shoes, I had a bed, I had a blanket. As a mother, traveling so much, the challenge is to find the time to give to your kids, to be there for them. Oh, here we go. I know they need me, but I try to go and help as many people as I can, and I try to do it fast. People take it for granted how fortunate we are to live in a developed economy where we have roads and electricity. When I was 20 years old, I got to Africa for the first time. Very quickly, I realized the main challenge in Africa is the lack of energy. And this is why I went to the US, got my master's in energy, and as a student, I started Innovation Africa to go back and bring solar technologies to African villages, to power schools, medical centers, but most importantly, to pump water.
My mother, to look for water here, she had to walk at least 3 kilometers one way and another 3 kilometers to come back. And she's carrying a 20-liter jerrycan. And she doesn't even need only one jerrycan. She needs at least 4 jerrycans in a day to make sure that her children can have what to drink or what to bathe with. She really worked so hard, and I really appreciate her for what she did. And she's not different from any African, any Ugandan woman I know. From my childhood, I really wanted to be a doctor. What really inspired me to be a doctor is my elder brother's wife died in childbirth. She had, now I can know the diagnosis, she has a postpartum hemorrhage. Now when she delivered, it was 2 a.m. in the night. She was rolled on a bicycle. When she was bleeding, to the nearest health center, the nurse there told us, I have no light, I have no water, I can't even put up a drip to resuscitate her. So we had no alternative but to roll her again towards Mbale town, and she died on their way to Mbale. That's why the work I do is directed to the women. I feel like I should do something.
Sam was the person first telling me about the culture in Uganda. He was telling me about the responsibilities that women have and made me realize that women are the solution.
I never knew that we would grow out to become great partners. People who look up to the same dream.
He knew that by helping women, real changes will come to the village.
בדרך כלל מסודר פה? פעם בשבוע מסודר? כן? מתי אתה קורנפלקס? אני דור שלישי בקיבוץ. צ'וק צ'וק. כי הסבא וסבתות שלי היו מהמייסדים של הקיבוץ. כשסבא וסבתא שלי הגיעו לכאן, זה מה שהם ראו. הם ראו פה מדבר. התנאים פה, אין ספק שזה תנאים קיצוניים, מעבר ל-40 מעלות, שהם מים מלוחים, קרקע שהיא מאוד קשה לגידול חקלאי. הדברים לא גדלים פה טוב באופן טבעי. כשסבא וסבתא שלי הגיעו, הם היו צריכים להקים משהו מכלום. לקחת את המשאבים ואת מה שהיה ולהתחיל משהו חדש. כילד אני עבדתי בחקלאות מכיתה א'. בקיץ קמים ב-4 בבוקר, הולכים לעבוד, וב-7:30 בבוקר הולכים לבית ספר. ואני באמת רואה את זה כזכות. בקיבוץ לימדו אותי לקחת אחריות על דברים. ולא להניח אותם למישהו אחר. שירתתי 7 שנים בחיל אוויר. אחרי שהשתחררתי, לקחתי שנת חופש ויצאתי לטיול בעולם עם אשתי, תמי. והטיול התחלנו במונגוליה, אחרי זה היינו בסין, אחר כך בתאילנד ואחר כך באיטליה. סך הכל 9 חודשים. במונגוליה אני מאוד התחברתי לאנשים שם, מאוד התחברתי לצורת חיים, מחובר לטבע, למשהו פתוח, לחקלאים. אבל אולי יותר מזה מושך אותי הצד האנושי שמחובר לזה. כלומר, האנשים שעומדים מאחורי הסיפור הזה, שדואגים בעצם להוציא את הלחם מהארץ, ממש פשוטו כמשמעו, ואני רציתי להיות חלק מהדבר הזה. מצאתי שבעצם מה שמושך אותי זה ללמוד משהו שקשור לחקלאות, למים, לצמחים. הטבע האינסופי הזה, משהו שאני מאוד התחברתי אליו בזמן הטיול. וזה אולי נתן לי ככה שוב את התחושה שתמיד הייתה לי, שזה מה שאני רוצה לעשות.
להציל את העולם.
לא להציל את העולם, להתחבר לטבע. לא אמרתי שאני רוצה להציל את העולם. בעולם שלנו היום, שבעצם יש דרישה מהחקלאות לייצר יותר ויותר. יש פחות ופחות מים. המקומות שנחשבו פעם שיש מספיק מים ושהכול בסדר, וזה לא בעיה, זה בעיה. זה משהו שצריך להתייחס אליו, זה משהו שצריך לפתור אותו. וזה מה שאנחנו עושים היום, כלומר בחברות סטארט-אפ. נכנסים למקום חדש ומחפשים פתרונות שלא עשו לפנינו.
כרגע מה שאני עושה זה לעדכן את אלגוריתם הפלנט סטטוס שקדים שלנו, כדי שיקח בחשבון ימים שיורד גשם.
Omer built the whole brains beyond FITech. All the machine learning algorithms, the predictive algorithms, what combines it into a very, very simple application, it's all Omer.
אני לא רואה את זה כאיזשהו מקום עבודה, וזהו. אני מרגיש שאני באמת, אנחנו עושים משהו מאוד משמעותי. זה נמצא לי בראש כל הזמן, אני רואה את זה כחלק מהזהות שלי, זה חלק ממני. אדמות סיליות זה בדרך כלל במדרונות של ערים, אנחנו במקומות יותר שטוחים וגדולים כאלה.
תראה, רוב האדמות שלנו בקליפורניה ועושה הם חול. כל היום שם זה חול.
הכוונה שלנו לייצר פה את המוצר שיותאם לקליפורניה.
And when it's all said and done, it'll still be crooked. So this is a picture of my great-grandfather's farm from 1927. Dad, do you know who's who? I think this is Dewey, right? My grandfather, Livio, is the little kid sitting on the car right there. And then next to him is his youngest brother, Ralph. And then his older brothers, Ferdinand, Alfred, and Dewey. And those 3 were the 3 that came over with my great-grandfather and grandmother from Italy. And then my grandfather and his younger brother were born in America. It's a pretty cool picture of the generations of the family, so a little bit of family history.
This soil is rich. Given enough water, it could produce bountiful harvests. Millions of acres would have remained a barren waste if the men who settled this part of the Great Valley had not used their knowledge and strength to irrigate the land. They dug wells and pumped water into the naturally fertile soil. As more and more water was needed, they built reservoirs to hold the excess water of the winter rains, and a great network of canals and pumping stations. When man used his wisdom and energy to bring water to this land, he worked wonders.
Current Delta Dispatch, this is Cindy. How can I help you?
Good morning, Cindy. It's Brian Paula.
Hey, how are you today?
Good. You guys have a major list probably for water right now, right, on the Kern Island?
Yeah, pretty much whoever's running right now is going to have priority to come back on.
Okay.
You know, it'll take us a couple days to recover completely from going down as far as we're going.
Okay, so when do you think it'll be back online at 100%?
I would say by Friday we should be leveled out.
Oh, that long? Okay, can I get on a waiting list then? Because I can't last till Friday. I don't have the capacity. I'm sure every farmer's calling you with a sob story. To me, water in California is worth more than anything. It's worth more than oil. It's worth more than gold. It's the only thing that keeps us going. If there is no change in the way politics is right now, we will be seeing a reduction in useful agriculture land because there won't be enough water. I mean, we're gonna lose just in our area. I mean, I'm not talking about the state, I'm talking about in our area, we're gonna lose 300,000 acres of farm ground. I mean, that's huge. I mean, that's like 1/3 of the entire area that grows food for the nation and the rest of the world. That's a huge impact.
Being the pH is so high, you may not have a lot of calcium, mineral, and bicarbs showing.
Gotcha.
If you're acidified, it might bring it out, but there's not much in here.
A lot of this area relies on canal water, and right now we get 30 days of water, and that's it. That's why these guys aren't farming, because they don't have any other water. I think people take water for granted. They turn on the faucet and it's there. People are so spoiled in America. It's not in their mind at all. I mean, I bet you if you told them, give me 100 things you're worried about, it probably wouldn't even be on the list. And that's sad. I mean, you tell me, give me 100 things to worry about. It may not be the first thing on my list, because I'd be worried about, my wife and kid, and worrying about, where I go when I die. Those two things probably first, and then I'd be worrying about things like water and how we're gonna sustain, survival.
This is my farm. I'm traveling a lot, but I always love to come back here. My family originally from this area. I'm talking about they never left the country, actually. 2,000 years and more. There is no balance. We are out of balance. We just have to create the balance again so that we can heal ourselves. 40% of the energy in the cities goes for water issues. The nexus between water, energy, and food is a vicious cycle. We need to break it. And what we're doing today is actually breaking this nexus by using technologies that need no energy to clean water. I was in a high-tech running this R&D, and I was okay, kind of good salary, and I just left everything and just changed to farming. My parents at that time say, "Are you crazy? Who is crazy going to do farming?" Suddenly I got a guy that's growing aquatic plants in Austria. And he asked me, "Why don't you grow for me aquatic plants?" I didn't know anything about aquatic plants, about water, I didn't know anything. But it sounded interesting. So, and if you want to grow aquatic plants, which use to very clean water in nature, you need to keep the water clean. And we learn about how to treat water. You can use very expensive filters, which most of the time not working, or use other methods. India is actually facing a huge crisis of water. Energy as well, of course, but mainly water. India had a special problem because it's developing in a crazy, fast-growing way. It means much bigger use of fresh water for many, for urban, domestic, industrial, agricultural, you name it.
Really, Ellie? I don't remember this at all.
But it all changed, first of all.
No, but not over 2 years.
Right, yeah.
I met Ellie at a conference in India on sustainability initiatives.
I was actually came there to give a lecture, and I said that this is my last one. I'm not going back to India anymore. And she convinced to give it another try. And since there, our life changed. Yesterday, we got a request to go and meet the committee of the Ganga Committee about a project on the Ganga. The Ganga is the holy biggest river of India, and
the Ganga is worshipped, and in fact, the river is referred to as Mother Goddess, the Goddess Ganga.
It's about 2,500 kilometers, and there are more than 500 million people living on it. 500 million people living on it, and just sending the sewage, industrial, domestic, agricultural, freely. Almost more than 90% of the sewage running without proper treatment or at all into the river. The river is out of balance. And now to treat it, you need to create a new balance, to help it rejuvenate itself. Well, this is a water drain. Local language is called Nala. All the cities in India are fabricated with hundreds and thousands of nalas like this. You see over here, you can see down here, this is actually sewage water, kitchen, whatever, running freely and draining into the Nala. Actually, India have a lot of rain, but it's all just losing it. Whatever goes down, get contaminated very fast, kill the aquifers, kill the rivers, kill the lakes.
This is like a tap where we get water only in the morning. So water come at 5 o'clock in the morning and it goes by 7:30. There will be a tap at every 4-5 house. So at one tap, the 5 people are there so they can fill the water. And this is how their drums are. They store the water like this.
Billions of dollars put into projects to treat the rivers in different places, but they all failed because they just choose the wrong methods. They're using too much energy, and they are not made to deal with such extreme conditions. We need to think out of the box. In Bangalore, 10 years, half of the city will have to leave because there's no water. I'm worried about what's happening. Of course, I see it every day. I see it every day, and I think the situation is very bad. People don't understand how bad the situation is. And the worst case, people will die, unfortunately. And not the rich people, the poor people will die because of a lack of water, because of diseases, because you name it. And the main problem is actually with the government. It's very hard for them to take decisions, and also the bureaucracy is big in India. No. First of all, we're supposed to get the money when we finish writing the tender. That was about almost a year ago.
But even this one also, only you still have opened that one. It is with me only.
But it's not really relevant because what it said over here, as soon as we finish writing the tender and submitting it, and it's approved, then we get the payment. And the tender itself is from 2013 already.
See, that's why we are processing now.
The hard part is the bureaucracy, it's the government institutes, sometimes it's very hard. Sometimes it consumes so much time and energy, and just say, why am I doing it for it? But I believe in something, and I can't stop it. I keep on doing it because I believe this is the right thing to do.
So they need to understand that it's modular and it doesn't have to be contiguous.
Exactly.
Because I think that's what's in their minds, and therefore they think land is a deterrent.
Exactly.
They say only crazy people attempt to change the world, but I think Ellie is crazy enough to try it, And now I see myself in that with the same craziness, I think.
Amaizi galiko buzibu. Tunywa amaizi agalimu eminasa, tunywa amaizi entwe giginywamu, embule giginywamu, entembwa.
Byona binywa muno.
Entana ingaja asiri. Eri bali mutuje kisani kalawo.
Lino
likalawo nga kama amaizi.
Omwina abana balwale nane omukida nane.
Bange bati.
This one was telling me that for him he had a policy in his home not to drink this water until it is boiled. But one of his daughters was very thirsty. She came here and she drank the water and he did not have a bicycle. So by the time he reached the hospital, the child was having so much diarrhea. So the child passed on. I have no surprise people are getting so sick. We are talking about typhoid. We talk about, because the mosquitoes have to breed around here, so there is malaria. Cholera, of course. Once there is no water, then it means the women are going to spend more time looking for that water. The girl children, they are not going to school because they have to help their mother. So at the end of it all, you find an educated community, which is poor. So there is poverty, there is ignorance, and there is disease in the same community, not development.
The pressure that I feel to try to help is enormous. We do not have the resources to go and help everyone. It can be quite challenging.
So I think altogether, out of all of these campaigns that we have going on, I think we can fundraise for about 12 full villages. But the rest of them, we're going to need to fundraise on our own in other ways.
So we are actually most likely entering Cameroon soon. UNICEF most likely will provide us with the funding to power 3 medical centers in Cameroon and 1 solar water pumping. What motivates me the most is the simplicity of the solution. First, we survey the village to see where we can find water, because the clean water can only be found deep in the aquifers. And then we build the tower, then we bring the water tank, and with 1 solar-powered pump from the tower through gravity, water flows to between 10 to 15 taps throughout the village. And usually we have the Women Association create a solar committee. They open a bank account. We then train them how to do accounting, because they have to take care of the solar system and the maintenance. Hold on. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
This is Lunio where we just pumped water?
Yeah, you see here? System is down due to leakage in the tank. I notified
Hold on.
David. This is what you see here.
We are able to remotely monitor, so we know if something breaks, we get an alert and we have the team to go and fix it.
You need to fix the gutter and to build it good, that it will last. And the inflatable water tank is very simple to install.
I've been in Africa for 18 years. So far, we have helped over 130 villages, but it's still small compared to the need.
והערך של ההשקיה, איך אתה שם אותו בכל הדברים שאתם עושים? כלומר...
השקיה זה בערך 40% מההוצאות שלנו בגידול. פה, באזור הזה, כי זה אזור שהוא מאוד חם ומאוד יבש. לא יורד פה כמעט גשם.
והמשאבים הולכים ומדלדלים. אז אנחנו לא יכולים פשוט לתת מים מתי שנראה לנו או לנחש, כי אז נבזבז בדרך משאבים יקרים. הטכנולוגיה הזאת מאפשרת לדעת בוודאות האם אני צריך עכשיו להשקות או לא צריך, והאם הכמות שאני נותן היא מספיקה או שהיא לא מספיקה, והאם זה יותר מדי או לא יותר מדי. אפשר לדמות את העץ ליצור חי, וכמו כל יצור חי, הוא נושם במחזוריות. מה שאנחנו עושים עם המכשירים האלה זה בעצם להקשיב לנשימה שלו, לקצב הנשימה שלו. ובאמצעות השינויים בקצב הנשימה, אנחנו מבינים מה מצבו.
Plants in the daytime shrink, and then in the nighttime they swell, so they basically breathe every day. This is actually a little probe that's literally reading what your plant is doing. See, it's just a spring-loaded
Oh, so that's how you
deal.
measure the
So basically,
the bark,
in the
right?
in the daytime it pushes it shrinks, so it goes down. In the nighttime, it actually swells up, but it does it at a minute level. The computer is here. It also can read how many gallons are coming through the system. So if you want to, they can dial it in at how many gallons per minute you're actually getting.
מה שאנחנו עושים באמצעות האלגוריתמים שלנו, אנחנו עושים לו תרגום של המדידות האלה, ונותנים לו את זה בצורה מאוד פשוטה למגדל שידע אם הכל בסדר או שלא הכל בסדר והוא צריך לעשות משהו.
This is my plant status. And my plant status is basically showing the measurement of that little thing that's on the tree. And it's showing your up and down growth. And it has an app, and it gives you like a quick reference guide. And you'll be surprised as soon as you put this on, whether you're doing good or not. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's an eye-opener.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of information.
Gives you a lot of information.
No more gut feeling.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that still irrigate on gut feeling, but water costs too much money, fertilizer costs too much money, electricity costs too much. I mean, you don't want to waste anything.
This is a very old tree. This is about 500 years old. This is olive that we already picked over here. Actually, no, not much soy this year, not so much. It's called, one of his scientific name is Chara. No, really, I'm not kidding. It adds the oxygen to the water, which is very important. In the beginning, it was only for the aquatic plants. We used to sell to Japan, to Europe. And now we're offering a system that cleans sewage water, treat it to very high quality without using energy. We just use nature to do it. You see here like a pile of stones, kind of. This is actually a living, natural filter. Look at this. Roots goes into the water and start the purification of the sewage water. In the gravel, the plants develop a root zone, which is a very powerful living area for huge communities of microorganisms. It can break down anything, as long as it's sewage, as long as it's organic matter, break down. Industrial, domestic, agricultural sewage, converted into oxygen, CO2, you name it. If it's heavy metals, the plants take the heavy metals for its own use to build the biomass. Everything is being used over here. There's a pipe running here, going by gravitation from one pond to another. The hydrology is different in each one of them because of different quality of water, so different plants like different conditions. They're harvesting very good heavy metals, for example. And when it's coming out, the water quality is amazing. You can drink it. The sewage coming out after the production is pure chemicals. The water goes from here into the machine that was supposed to do the job, but it's not. So the water being sent to our system over here. This is the water actually coming out from the system after treatment. It's about 2 days, this one to this one. I used to work a lot with all the farming. I loved it. מה קורה? אתה עייף, אני עייף. Even just to weed, it's amazing meditation. It's just time for yourself and you learn so much about the plant. It's so good, it's so nice. I don't have time for it, unfortunately. When I came here, there was more and more shortage in water. They were cutting the water budget for farmers. Used to get something like 30,000 cubic meter per year. It went down to 3,000. It was crazy. People didn't have enough water. It was very hard.
20 years ago, Israel was in a water crisis. All of our natural water systems were collapsing. We were in a drought. Population was growing. The water demand was increasing. We were simply in a situation where we were running out of water. From the beginning, Israel had a water-efficient infrastructure. Israel had developed in the early years of the state drip irrigation. But even with those kinds of innovations, it still wasn't enough. By the time Israel was reached the 1990s, water demand was outstripping water supply.
זה משהו שאני הרגשתי אותו בתור ילד, שזה היה המשבר הכי חמור. כלומר, יש משנת בצורת לשנת בצורת, השנות בצורת הופכות להיות יותר ויותר חמורות. פשוט ראו תהליך של הידרדרות. רק לפני בערך 10 שנים, ב-2005, התחיל התהליך של השיפור ראו את הפירות של הכנסת הטכנולוגיה.
In response to the water crisis, Israel has developed and innovated the reclamation of wastewater for irrigation, for food production, and the development of large-scale desalination for the production of potable water. Today, we are now treating about 85% of wastewater for agriculture, and about 80% of our domestic water supply is now coming from large-scale desalination facilities along the Mediterranean coastline. Beyond these large infrastructure innovations, the Israeli public is very aware of the value of water. We are now using low-flush toilets, water-saving devices on our showers and on our faucets. The actual consumption of water in the public arena has actually gone down.
כל הזמן היינו חשופים לזה, שאמרו לנו לחסוך במים, לא להשתמש ביותר מדי מים. האמרה שהכי יושבת לי בראש זה שרפול אמר שצריך להתקלח בזוגות ולחסוך במים. פרסומות בטלוויזיה, בבית ספר.
ממש מהגן, אולי לפני, מרגע שאפשר לדבר עם הילדים על הדברים האלה ולחנך אותם.
יואב, אני מוביל! מה זה? מי משאיר ככה את הברזים? פתוחים, אסור!
ישראל מתייבשת, ולא רק ישראל. זה קורה גם באוסטרליה, זה קורה גם בספרד, בקליפורניה, זה קורה בכל העולם. העולם מתייבש.
ונצטרך לצמצם למינימום את צריכת המים בבית.
בכל דרך אפשרית. כי אין לנו מים.
אין לנו ברירה.
פשוט אין לנו מים לבזבז.
In the last 2 decades, Israel has gone from a country facing drought to a country that is actually exporting water to its neighbors, like Jordan, which is very indicative of water scarcity throughout the larger region. This transformation was due to a fundamental shift in the consciousness of water amongst Israeli water managers, the government, and of course the public.
המודעות למים, לשימוש במים. שאנחנו לא יכולים להשתמש במים כאילו זה משאב בלתי מוגבל, שזה משאב שנמצא במחסור, שצריך לחסוך בו. הוא גורם לחשוב על לפני השימוש במים, ולראות שמשתמשים בהם בחוכמה, כי זה עולה הרבה כסף. מים זה כסף וזה אנרגיה.
We are actually in a small kind of slum neighborhood on the Najaf Gar. This is the Nala. You want to see the Nala? Come, Harry.
I was told that there are goats, dead goats.
Come. No ghosts or nothing. Be careful on your hand. Only that cow, that's all. This is the Najaf Gar.
It's just thick, raw sewage. The base is water, but there's a lot in it.
Find anything in this nalas, anything running there. People find bodies, as you know, but this in certain areas. These people that actually live on this water, and we would love to give them better life quality by treating the nala, the drain, in a better way. Imagine that you stand on the road over there and see over here a beautiful park. People can come here and sit inside a park that actually clean your water in the same time. That's the idea. You understand that we're going to put our own layout of ponds, of treating systems, and we're going to play with the gravity over here. We might have to dig a little bit here, take over there, but we have to play with it. And it's mainly sludge, by the way? It's
sludge.
Pure sludge. זה בעצם הנהר, הנג'ף גר, שלנו מדובר פה על בסביבות 8 מיליון אנשים שחיים באזור הזה. אנחנו בעצם מטפלים בכל הסטרץ' הזה. עכשיו, הרעיון גם בעתיד לטפס במעלה אותם תעלות קטנות למעלה, וגם במעלה ההוא, למעלה,
ליצור שם תאים ירוקים.
בדיוק, ליצור מה שנקרא, מה שאנחנו קראנו לו The Tree of Life, עץ החיים. זאת אומרת, בעצם אתה עולה במעלה ויוצר תאים ירוקים כאלה. כן. וזה גם הגישה שאנחנו בעתיד נעשה אותה יותר ויותר במרחבים העירוניים.
לפעמים המגדלים, בגלל שהם מכירים את המטעים שלהם והם יודעים מה הם רוצים לעשות, אז לפעמים הם יודעים יותר טוב מאיתנו אפילו איך אפשר להשתמש במערכת.
Omer, how's it going? Good to see you again. Good to see you. How are you? Good to see you. Come on in.
אנחנו נותנים משהו שהוא בסיסי, ואנחנו שמחים שהם לפעמים לוקחים את זה ומפתחים מזה עוד דרכים להשתמש במערכת.
I'm just looking at those trees over there. They look nice.
Yeah,
these are yours, right?
Yeah. So we're hanging in there. I was camping for 4 days this weekend. It was nice because with the campground there was no cell phone, so
No what?
no cell phone service.
I like it. Yeah, I've been to Yosemite.
It was awesome. I'm like, this is amazing.
But in Israel you don't have such places.
Oh really? There's cell phone service everywhere. You can't escape.
You can't
We have a lot of things that we are going to do. So Omer needs your feedback, and then we are going to go and start developing based on that. So we learn your practice. That's what this is. We have your irrigation history from the pressure sensors, so we know.
So we know an algorithm.
It is already an algorithm. This is part of the learning machine. This is what it is. This is a machine learning algorithm.
I do want to understand better the irrigation scheduling that you have today and whether you want to change it in the future once you put automation, because you have first. Is it all drip irrigation now? Why do you want to wet the ground to 3 feet like?
Because that for me is the entire root zone of the tree, and I don't want to just give it 18 inches. I want that deep moisture to be in the ground because the tree to me is the healthiest, and it thrives the best when you're watering down to 3 feet.
Okay. בריין קיבל יבולים מאוד מאוד טובים, הוא חקלאי גם מאוד מאוד מתקדם. הוא ממציא כבר דרכים חדשות במערכת.
Right now, we're starting the harvest process. Yeah, these things are addicting. I gain like 10 pounds every time we harvest. You have to stretch your tree a little bit in order to shake it. Because it's this big clamp that puts on about 1,400 pounds pressure and it shakes the tree. Well, if it's got too much moisture and the tree's a little too happy, when that clamp hits that tree, it breaks off the outer layer, and we call it barking the tree. when you bark a tree, the tree dies. So with Phytech, we know about where the tree stress is, that I know that I can go out there and start shaking and I won't bark any trees. There needs to be a change so that we can have a more sustainable system in general, with the whole entire system, with agriculture helping environment, helping the human population, because everything is important and everything needs to work together in order to keep it sustainable and in balance. But yeah, I really believe that we really are helping out keeping the earth sustainable through technology, through innovation, through experimenting and expanding and basically finding the solution to be able to grow the food for the ever-increasing population.
How many people are in the village?
Around 9,000 people.
Just
right?
in Cuba?
Yes.
9,000 people are gonna get clean water?
Yes, please. We are going to install it today.
Meaning that we finished with the drilling?
Mm-hmm. It is now remaining to install the tank, to install the solar panels on top of it, and everything will be done.
Push it, push! Be careful, be careful. Sometimes he falls and he breaks. Are you happy for the water?
Very happy.
Yes.
I've been stressed.
Yes.
I know water. Now at home.
Yes, yes, yes. Finish, finish. Finish.
We are happy for clean water. Our dear design, we are well welcome. You are well welcome. We are blessed. We are thankful, Lord, who have brought you here. We are happy for clean water.
Although we go back and check on the community, and although we can remotely monitor, we know that they're doing well. They don't need us anymore.
We are happy for clean water.
Here's my husband just wrote me, we love you and we miss you. I have good kids. I have good kids.
My son, he's 14 years old, so he's at that age where he wants to help with everything. I let him drive tractors around on my lap. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but he loves it, loves it. So I let him steer and everything. I take him out, and he just has a blast with it.
maybe on TV.
I think that me passing things on to my son, or if we have more children, to them, it's like so valuable and so important. As far as carrying on the tradition of what my grandfather has built up, and then what my dad's generation has helped build, the ability to have my son to be able to kind of carry on the legacy of what our family's been doing for the last 100 years, that would be a really cool feeling.
הקיבוץ זה כמו גן עדן של ירוק בתוך מדבר. סבא וסבתא שלי הגיעו הנה לארץ שהיא משממה, ונעזרו אחד בשני ומצאו את הדרכים להתמודד עם הקושי ויצרו פה משהו נפלא. וזה הסיפור של ישראל. אני מאוד אופטימי. אני חושב שמה שנעשה פה בארץ אפשר להסתכל עליו ולהיות אופטימי. האנשים באמת מסוגלים ליצור שינוי, באמת לפתור בעיות כמו התחממות עולמית, כמו התייבשות. זה באמת בידיים שלנו.
There is a nala gathering sewage from the entire domestic area up here. They approach us in order to catch this running sewage, treat it on site as part of the landscape. All golf course is being fed by this water here. Today there are golf courses in Europe and the United States that are being closed because of lack of water. And over here, in one of the most hottest places on Earth, they have enough water all year round, with no energy, no payment, free of charge.
Now with people actually opening up to different solutions and out-of-the-box solutions, we get calls from all over the world.
We did coffee plants, textile, food industry, cities, lakes, rivers, you name it. And it's growing and growing and growing. I believe that in a matter of 10 years, the change will be global. Not because we are so smart, just because we are facing so many other issues like energy deficiency and carbon footprint, etc. And the only way to solve it is by going back to Mother Nature, to embrace it and just to live with it in peace.
The other organizations just bring in aid and then they go. 3 years down the road, there is nothing on ground. So it's like there is no impact. We don't believe in that. We want to do sustainable things.
Era bino tengo twakolera twatundira olundiudi era bintu tino tufuna sente gino tekukala ebijanjalo n'empindi tugulako green paper jena tuteeke kwata ate abaana ebitabo bawula baakutandika okusoma ebitabo wawula kadi baesuubira nti amonje oleke kyambeko ibiri njabe ntundeku mbafunireko ebitabo naati ani une natundako ebitabo
waba osuubira nti ekintu ekyokuba yali baakuwa omukyalo omunaana mu katundu kewanyu kano
anabayeti nsuubira
mwebaze Adonayi kubanga mulungi kubanga okusasira kwe kwaluberera mwebaze Lubale waba Lubale kubanga okusasira kwe kwaluberera mwebaze Adonayi.
Water is life. Although life is also water. So we use the water to bring the life into that person.
We need more people to get the word out, to educate the world in what it's going to take to be able to feed the world and keep everybody sustainable.
This forest is indicative of the spirit of innovation and rebirth that not only has transformed this place, but turned Israel into an R&D hub for water technologies, which we are actively sharing with the rest of the world.
Talk about the holistic approach, about the holistic system. Just look around. All the answers are around us. That's the beauty of it. It's all around us, all the time, just flowing from all over. Just open the eyes, open the ears, open the heart, and it will come.